What's wrong? You haven't managed to sleep at all, have you? I can tell. Your eyes have that thing to them. It's hard to turn your brain off, right? Don't worry. Come here. Look at me. Can I help? It's one of those, huh? Just your head being... Yeah, I know. Tell you what. I know it usually helps you. Wait, what is it? Nope. Fuck, nope. And it is. I know you usually like scary stories. So I'll read you a story, yeah? That usually gets you sleepy. A nice bedtime story. Although you know that I only like to read these sort of weird things. Oh yeah, you're gonna get some H.P. Lovecraft tonight. Let's see. No, that one is way too grim. Let's do something relatively harmless, yeah? Let's see. Oh yeah, that'll do. Just focus on the sound of my voice, okay? Hey, I'm serious. I know this sounds silly, but just take a deep breath, relax. I got you, okay? Focus on right now. Nothing else matters. Just try and put all your worries and anxieties in a little box, stow it away, and be here with me in this moment. Because you're gonna get a couple pages of a beautiful short story named Nyarlathotep, The Crawling Chaos. Nyarlathotep, The Crawling Chaos. I am the last. I will tell the audient void. I do not recall distinctly when it began, but it was months ago. The general tension was apprehension of hideous physical danger, a danger widespread and all-embracing, such that the people went about with pale and worried faces and whispered warnings and prophecies which no one dared consciously to repeat or acknowledge to himself. A sense of monstrous guilt was upon the land, and out with the abysses between the stars swept chill currents that made men shiver in dark and lonely places. There was a demonic alteration in the sequence of the seasons. The autumn heat lingered fearsomely, and everyone felt that the world, and perhaps even the universe, had passed from the control of known gods or forces. And it was then that Nyarlathotep came out of Egypt. Who he was, no one could tell, but he was one of the old native blood and looked like a pharaoh. Like a pharaoh, like a... Bear with me here. The Fellahin knelt when they saw him, yet could not say why. He said he had risen up out of the blackness of 27 centuries, and that he had heard messages from places not on this planet. Into the lands of civilization came Nyarlathotep, swarthy, slender, and sinister. Always buying strange instruments of glass and metal and combining them into instruments yet stranger. He spoke of much odd science, of electricity and psychology, and gave exhibitions of power which sent the spectators away speechless. Yet, which swelled his fame to exceeding magnitude. Men advised one another to see Nyarlathotep, and shuddered, and where Nyarlathotep went, rest vanished, for the small hours were rent with the screams of nightmare. Never before had the screams of nightmare been such a public problem. Now the wise men almost wished they could forbid sleep in the small hours, that the shrieks of cities might less horribly disturb the pale, pitying moon as it glimmered on green waters, gliding under bridges, and old steeples crumbling against the sickly night sky. I remember when Nyarlathotep came into my city, the great, the old, terrible city of unnumbered crimes. My friend told me of him, and of the impelling fascination and allurement of his revelations, and I burned with eagerness to explore his uttermost mysteries. My friend said they were horrible and impressive beyond my most fervid imaginations, and what was thrown on a screen in the darkened room prophesied things no one but him dared to prophesy. And in the sputter of his sparks there was taken none from men that which had never been taken before, yet showed only in the eyes, and I heard it, hinted abroad that those who knew Nyarlathotep looked on sights which others did not. It was in the It was on the hot autumn that I went through the night with the restless crowds to see Nyarlathotep, through the stifling night, and up the endless stairs into the choking room, and shadowed on a screen I saw hooded forms amidst ruins, and yellow evil faces peering from beneath fallen monuments. And I saw the world battling against blackness, against the waves of destruction from ultimate space, whirling, churning, struggling around the dimming, cooling sun. Then the sparks played amazingly around the heads of the spectators, and hair stood up on the end, whilst shadows more grotesque than I can tell came out and squatted on the heads. And when I, who was colder and more scientific than the rest, mumbled out in trembling protest about imposture and static electricity, Nyarlathotep drove us all out, down the dizzy stars, into the damp, hot desert. I screamed aloud that I was not afraid, that I never could be afraid, and others screamed with me for solace. We swore to one another that the city was exactly the same and still alive, and when the electric lights began to fade, we cursed the company over and over again and laughed at the queer faces we made. I believe we felt something coming down from the greenish moon, for when we began to depend on its light, we drifted into curious, involuntary marching formations, and seemed to know our destinations, though we dared not think of them. Once we looked at the pavement and found blocks loose and displaced by grass, with scarce a line of rusted metal to show where the tramway had run. And again we saw a tramcar, lone, windowless, dilapidated, and almost on its side. And when we gazed around the horizon, we could not find the third tower by the river, and noticed that the silhouette of the second tower was ragged at the top. Then we split into narrow columns, each of which seemed drawn into a different direction. One disappeared in a narrow alleyway to the left, leaving only the echo of a shocking moan. Another filed down a weed-choked subway entrance, howling with laughter that was mad. My own column was sucked towards the open country, and presently I felt the chill which was not of the odd autumn. For as we all stalked out in the dark moor, we beheld around us the hellish moon glitter of evil snow. Trackless, inexplicable. Where lay a gulf in the blacker for its glittering walls, the column seemed very thin indeed, as it plodded dreamily into the gulf. I lingered behind, for the black rift in the green-litten snow was frightful, and I thought I had heard the reverberations of a disquieting wail as my companions vanished. But my power to linger was slight, as if beckoned by those who had gone before. I half floated between the titanic snowdrifts, quivering and afraid, into the slightless vortex of the unimaginable. Screamingly sentient, dumbly delirious, only the gods that were can tell. A sickened, sensitive shadow riding in the hands that are not hands, and whirled blindly past ghastly midnights of rotting creation, corpses of dead worlds with sores that were cities, charnel winds that brush the pallid stars and make them flicker low. Beyond the worlds, vague ghosts of monstrous things, half-seen columns of unsanctified temples that rest on nameless rocks beneath space and reach up to dizzy vacua above the spheres of light and darkness. And through this revolting graveyard of the universe, the muffled, maddening beat of drums and thin, monotonous whine of blasphemous flutes from inconceivable, unlighted chambers beyond time, the detestable pounding and piping went on to dance, slowly, awkwardly, and absurdly, the gigantic, tenebrous, ultimate gods, the blind, voiceless, mindless gargoyles, whose soul is Nyarlathotep. And that was just a short bit from the full story, I believe. I could read you this entire book if you'd like. It has a lot of them. It has a lot of them. You know, these are my favorite sort of stories. I really did like his writing. They had as much to make you sleepy as they are to make you think. I hope that helped a little bit. Lay your head back now, okay? You don't have to worry about anything right now. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Focus on today. Focus on the now. Focus on being here with me in our room under these 4 walls. Oh well, 6 if you count the ceiling and the floor, but those are minor details. Okay? Tomorrow's a new day. And if so, tomorrow's worries are for tomorrow. Right now, I just want you to close your eyes and relax all the muscles on your face, bit by bit. Start with the jaw, and then your lips, each one of your cheeks, your brow, your eyelids, and those funny muscles behind the eyes, and then your neck, and then relax your whole body, limb by limb, chest, stomach, legs, feet. And know that you can go and rest, knowing that you are entirely and utterly mine. Sleep well, okay? I'm also going to go and get some rest.